and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast where we tell each other fairy tales and folk tales and mythology and things that we read this week. And we talk about our lives, and you get to be here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And welcome.
To Sort of the Story.
This is the podcast. It was doing well and then got all turned around.
I called my dad earlier this week.
That cloud looks like a llama. Wait, what? Do you see all of the feet? It has legs.
Oh wait, we're looking at different things.
Okay, I'm looking at one that has 4 clear legs.
Oh, that's a llama.
He's a proud llama.
I was looking at the other one.
Hello, and welcome to Sort of the Story.
We saw a cloud.
And it looked like a llama.
I called my dad earlier this week on the phone, and he picked up and he was like, hello? And I was like, hello. And he was like, you said that like you say it on the podcast.
Oh,
and at first I was...
Michael, why?
At first I was embarrassed, and then I got to say to him, yeah, it's actually really interesting. I'm actually the same person from the podcast. So...
It's me, your daughter. Your daughter right now, and from the podcast.
That's actually the same guy who is me.
You should start calling your dad and introducing yourself formally. Just saying like, hello, this is Max from Sort of the Story, and also from being your child. Forever.
Hello.
Hello. Nobody in my family listens to the podcast.
God, you're so lucky.
No, they are just so over my shit. Honestly, the real reason why they don't consume any of my, except for Savannah, buys all my art. But she
Junior
shouldn't.
listens to the podcast sometimes.
Sometimes Junior listens to the podcast. Savannah will not listen to the podcast, but she does support my art, and she is my, like, on-the-ground street team. Other than that, not a single person in my family. Like, my other siblings, my parents, I think they're just so fucking tired of my shit. I made them go through so many, like, plays in high school. My mom had to take me to dance lessons. My dad went to, like, one improv show. My very first improv show I ever did at the very beginning.
Oh,
he
God.
went to that one, and it was, like, really bad. And, like, just genuinely, I think they're like, God damn it, Janey's still doing this shit. Isn't she, like, 700 years old?
I think I just had, like, a contact anxiety attack hearing your dad went to your first ever improv show. That my whole, like, stomach twisted.
Weirdly enough, he's the parent that I would want to go to shit like that. Because he's, like, easygoing.
Yeah, but also just the idea of being at your first improv show and looking out and your dad is there.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
It is a nightmare. I remember very specific. Oh, we don't have to. You know what? We don't have to relive this, okay? I don't know why I did this for myself. Hello and welcome to Sort of the Story. So we're going to tell each other some stories today. But first, Max is going to tell you about our Patreon. Go ahead, Max.
Sure thing, Janey. We have a Patreon account, and the link for that is in the description for this episode and every episode down in the show notes. You can join us on Patreon at $3 a month, and you will be able to get access to our Discord, which is just a lot of really fun people hanging out online. We post a lot of cool things in there, and we all talk and hang out, and you can come be our friend. Or for $7 a month, you can join the Patreon at a higher tier, at which you get a bonus episode every month, in addition to other secret, cool, fun stuff, and access to the Patreon.
Yeah. And you know what? It's very fun no matter what level you join at. And we love you. And if you can't join, the thunder is going to get you. It's sunny now, but it is still thundering quite a bit. So that's the weather that we're dealing with. Max, that was beautiful. You did such a good job.
I was ready this time.
You were.
Every time you throw it to me and you're like, Max, take it away. And I'm like, what? Why?
I think it's funny.
Well, haha, joke's on you. I was ready this time. And Don't you feel stupid?
Nope, still feel great about it. Well, Max, do you want to just jump into it? I don't have anything. Do you have anything that you want to tell everyone?
I don't think so. Nope, can't think of nothing.
Not a single thing.
Not even a one.
Okay, well, we have nothing to tell you. Nothing new has happened since the last time that we recorded, so Max is going to tell me a story.
I am.
Yay!
Let's McFrickin' do it.
Let's McFrickin' do it. Ba 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 ba. We're not sponsored by McDonald's.
Is it go?
It's go.
Okay. I was reading my notes and I just saw arms. It's happening. All right. The story that I have for you today is from a collection called Japanese Myths by Jake Jackson. I almost said Jake Johnson.
I thought you were going to say Jake Johnson, too.
Listen.
Jake Johnson, Jack Johnson, Jonathan Jackson, all the same, not the same person.
No.
Also Joshua Jackson. Jonathan Jackson, Joshua Jackson, Jake Johnson, Jack Johnson, and this is Jake Jackson. And together, they form one big Johnson. Jack Johnson's in the head.
I'm pretty sure he's in the feet and he's got his toes in the sand. Jake Johnson is in the liver. Anyways.
You were picturing a different Johnson. I was
No,
picturing a
penises have livers.
Shaved
And
paradise.
feet. Shaved paradise.
It's not even anything.
No, that's not even, I don't think that's even Jack Johnson.
No, it's not. Okay, go.
Okay, this is Jake Jackson, who is the founder of Flame Tree Publishing, and has a bunch of books of, like, what's it called?
Different cultures' myths.
Anthologies of different cultures' myths. I was like, allocations? Annotations?
Alligators.
Anthrax.
Oh, God.
He has a bunch of collections of books that are, like, outside of copyright, and so you can read them online a lot of times.
Artists like to do that. This is like a really good thing for artists to grab all of the like the stories that are just like free on Gutenberg and have no, like Steve Gutenberg puts them out because he knows that nobody can sue him.
God damn it.
But artists will do that too, so they can have like a whole book full of their illustrations.
Yeah, so this is from Japanese Myths, and I'm going to tell it to you. I'm not going to tell you the title because it's kind of a spoiler.
The title of this story is They're gonna get at the end.
They're going to get it again?
They're gonna get at the end.
There once was a ronin, a wandering samurai, without a house.
Thank you. I was going to ask.
Like, without a house that he serves, not without a house. I mean, he also probably doesn't have a house, but, like, he's not. A ronin is a wandering samurai.
There once was an unhoused samurai. His name was Ronin.
No?
I am on board.
So a samurai is a warrior in service to a specific household, right? Or like a lineage of people.
By the way, where is our samurai? I haven't seen him in months.
Did you forget to feed him?
Fuck.
Janey, oh my god.
Ronin, come back.
No, if he's a ronin, he is a wandering samurai untethered to a house.
Oh no.
So a samurai is specifically one that works for someone. A ronin is someone who, for whatever reason, is no longer working for, but they still have all the training of a samurai.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
It's like it's kind of the difference between like a soldier and a mercenary.
Okay.
A little bit. So he is a ronin. His name is bad handwriting, Tajima Shume. And he's traveling to the Sea of Kyoto. And out on the road, he meets a priest who is also traveling to Kyoto. And so they end up like walking alongside each other for a little while and being like, this is awkward. And then they're like, we should actually maybe just travel together. And so they make the decision that they're going to go to Kyoto together. And as they walk, they sort of talk and they become friends. And, you know, it's a couple days walk at least. So they get, you know, they like tell each other stories about their life and everything. They start a podcast.
This sounds so familiar.
Oh my God. You know how you and I met on the road to Kyoto?
Traveling on the road.
And I was a ronin and you were a wandering priest.
I was also a wandering peace protester.
A wandering pest.
That's why I'm still here. Can't get rid of old Janey.
No, you can't. Yeah, and so they become friends. As they are walking along, the priest tells the ronin that the priest's dream is to strike up a statue of the Buddha and put it at this specific shrine. He wants to have a bronze cast statue of the Buddha made and put at like a shrine or whatever. Okay. And that's like his biggest dream, and it's what he's always wanted to do. And he tells his buddy, the ronin, he's like, I've been working really hard for the past couple of years. I have been like keeping what money I can and living really frugally and traveling around to make a little bit of money. And he says, I have 200 ounces of silver that I'm going to use to buy, like to have someone cast this bronze statue of the Buddha for me to put in this shrine. It's my life's work, basically.
Okay.
And the ronin hears this and his heart begins to darken.
Oh.
Because this ronin is 40 years old.
And Buddha killed his parents.
And Buddha killed his parents. He's 40 years old. He has no money and no prospects.
Oh no, he's a burden on his family and he's afraid.
Yes. He he doesn't have any kind of like tether to a family.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a family of his own. He doesn't have any real money to his name or any accomplishments. So he's kind of like, I'm 40 years old and I have only been dealt like a bad hand by life. Mm-hmm. And so he hears that this priest has 200 ounces of silver on him.
Oh, no.
And there's a really cool line, and it says, it's as the proverb says, he who bears a jewel in his bosom bears poison. Where it's like, oh, if you like carry some hope in your heart, that has the potential to be your undoing, mm-hmm. which is a really dark way to be, but you know.
I'm sorry. Can you call yourself a samurai if you don't have a house that you're defending?
No, you call yourself a ronin.
So he's not a samurai. Was he serving at... This is what I mean. Mm-hmm. You can call yourself a writer. Mm-hmm. Many people do, having never written or published anything, right? Like maybe they've written some stuff, but they have never published anything. They don't have anything out there. Like they haven't completed a project and they're still like, I'm a writer. So like, could you call yourself a samurai if you've never had a job as a samurai?
To my understanding, a ronin is usually someone who was a samurai for a household. Okay. But for whatever reason, like that household fell or they were unable to pay their warriors or something like that. Or like the samurai was disgraced and banished from the family. Something happened so that they were a samurai. They now are not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
As far as I understand, which is, I haven't Googled that. That's just my general cultural understanding. But,
and if you were an author and then you were disgraced and you are no longer an author, you are
J.K. Rowling. Yeah, you're no longer an author. You're just a TERF. And those books weren't written by anybody.
I like the idea that a TERF is somebody who never existed.
Yeah, I have erased her from history. She's just a rich asshole. So it's basically says like, you know, the priest tells him this secret of like, this is what I've always wanted. And I have this thing that I've made for myself. And in that moment, he like puts himself in danger, sort of. Yeah. But the priest is not aware of this. He thinks that he and his buddy are just hanging out. So meanwhile, the Ronin is like walking behind him and like just stewing in like wrath and jealousy a little bit. Like, yeah. And his friend, the priest, is just like, anyways, what are you going to do when we get to Kyoto? So they continue on the journey and they reach a town called Kuwana, which is like a port town that's across the water from Kyoto. So they have ferries that leave every day to go over to Kyoto. It's the only way to get there. Yeah. They arrive in Kuwana and they hire a boat to take them across. It's them and like 20 or 30 other passengers, right? Mm-hmm. And they get started on the boat to cross over to Kyoto. And they get about halfway across the crossing and the priest is like, hang on, buddy, I gotta go take a leak. And he walks over to the side of the boat and he starts peeing. And
so many of your stories have pee in it. I don't think I've ever had a story that involves people peeing.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely. Guys, if I'm wrong, please. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't think any of my stories have ever had somebody just stop in the middle to go pee. And I feel like every one of yours.
I don't like that.
Why do you have so much pee in your story?
I don't know.
Guys, if we're wrong, please tell us.
I feel like you've told pee stories.
I don't think I have. You've turned some of my stories into pee stories, but I don't think that was ever in the actual text.
Well, that's not great for me. I don't want to be the piss guy.
Then I don't yet.
I spent literally like 4 hours today trying to find a story. This is the first one that I came across that was going to work.
And it has pee.
God damn it.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us about your piss story.
God damn it. So the Ronin sees his friend go over to the side of the boat to pee, and he sneaks up behind him. He looks around to make sure that nobody is watching, and then he pushes him off the boat.
Pitch! That's shitty.
Into his own pee.
I know!
So he pushes him off of the boat. The other passengers on the boat hear the splash and they turn around and they see like this man floundering in the water. And they're like, oh my God, what happened? He's like, I don't know. He just fell in. And so they try and like reach down to pull him out of the water, but it is a very windy day.
Oh.
The sails are full and the boat is moving quickly across the water. So by the time that they are able to like get over to the side of the boat and like, you know, stabilize themselves and like reach down to try and get him, he is far away. He's 50 feet away. And they're like, we have to turn the boat around. But by the time they're even able to get the boat partway turned around, he is almost out of sight and has sunk beneath the waves and isn't coming back up.
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone's like, oh my God, how did that happen? And the Ronin is like, oh, my cousin!
Oh,
He's dead! And he sobs and he puts on a whole grief show and he's like, that was my cousin and he was a wandering priest and he was going to Kyoto to meet with his patron and I was supposed to go with him because I was going there on business as well and I was supposed to protect him and I couldn't. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And they're all like, oh my God, we're so sorry. And he's like, it's okay. All right. When we get there, I'm going to go to his patron and I'm going to tell him that, you know, the priest is not coming. And I'll write a letter home to our family and let them know that my sweet, beautiful cousin is dead. And he was a good boy.
If it wasn't for his wobbly head syndrome that made him constantly fall off boats.
And he's like, and of course, when we get to shore, we'll have to alert the authorities. Although on second thought, actually, they might like not let people get off the boat. Like they might keep us for questioning and like we're all on the boat because we're going to get somewhere, right? And I'm sure that you guys have plans. So like it might actually, you know what? It might actually be better if nobody talks to the authorities and I'll just handle it on my own. And everyone's like, yeah, for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for sure. And he's like, great. Oh, my cousin. So the boat arrives at Kyoto. All of the passengers get off the boat and disperse. And the Ronin goes and picks up his luggage and the priest's luggage and puts them together and walks off, very proud of himself for this
murder
crime that he has done. He takes the priest's bags, including the 200 silver ounces. He makes his way into Kyoto. He finds a home for himself. He uses the money to set himself up as a merchant. So he makes investments and they pay off really well because he has a really good business acumen, apparently.
Well,
right?
Where has this been up until now?
I know, right?
Ronin.
Yeah, he's been... It does explain that he has been kind of in poverty because he has been in poverty. Yeah. So it's like, you know, he might be really great at investments, but if you don't have any money, then that doesn't really help you all that much.
Yeah. That's why all my investments keep failing.
Yes. That's why.
Because I have no money to invest.
So he is able to like make a way for himself. He makes himself into a fairly successful merchant. He finds a wife and they get married and have a kid. And he changes his name from Shume to Takube.
Okay.
Don't know what that means. Didn't feel like Googling it. He changes his name.
Okay.
Presumably to get away from all of his crimes.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
If this was Chinese, I would have no way to really know because they all have different tones. But Shume could mean a beautiful book.
Oh.
What's the other one?
What's Shumai? Shrimp dumpling.
No. No, what's his other name?
Takube.
Toku baby. That's what it could mean. Tokyo baby. Aw.
Sure.
Yeah.
So one evening, he's put his baby down to bed. His wife is already asleep. And he has his big, beautiful house that he goes out on the veranda, which is also a word that's used in a lot of these translations of Japanese stories. I don't know what the etymology of veranda is, but they use it liberally in translations of Japanese work. And I don't know why. He goes out on the veranda, like the back porch. He looks out over this like beautifully kept garden that he has in his beautiful house. And he just like sort of takes a moment to breathe in the night air. And he's like, I am so lucky. And then like a little voice in his head is like, are you lucky though? Because you weren't lucky until you murdered a guy, stole all of his silver, and set yourself up. So like maybe that's not luck. And so he is like kind of arguing with himself, and he's like, okay, but also like, you know, I wouldn't have had to become a murderer and a thief if I hadn't been in poverty for my entire life.
Yeah.
Like my circumstances forced me to do something to defend myself, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to do murder about it, but
No,
like,
well, there's no, he is justifying it in his head. We can talk about it later.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's like, actually, it's good of me to have done that. And I'm great.
I'm the hero of this story. It's me.
And then he's like looking out over his garden, and he's like, I still, though, like, even though he's justifying it to himself, he's like, I still feel bad, though. Like, if I think about it, that wasn't a great thing to do.
Maybe I'm not the hero.
Maybe I shouldn't have done a murder. So he's looking out, and he's starting to feel this, like, pit of guilt in his stomach, which he's always kind of previously, whenever he starts to think about this too much, he sort of, like, distracts himself and goes and does something else. But as he's thinking about it this time, he can't distract himself, and he's like he's just sort of feeling this guilt. It's been 3 years, by the way, and he's feeling this guilt in his stomach for the first time. And he's looking out over his darkened garden, and he sees out at the edge of the garden there is a fir tree. And as he's looking out, his eyes sort of adjust to the darkness, and he sees that standing next to the fir tree is a figure of a man. And
spooky.
Yes. And this man is incredibly thin. His skin is worn down and like leathery from sun and from malnourishment. And his eyes are sunken in and hollow. And he, like, all of his clothes are hanging off of him in rotten tatters. And he's just standing at the edge of this garden and looking at Takube and sneering with just contempt.
Yeah. So scary.
And Takube knows in this moment that this is the priest that has come back to haunt him. He widens his eyes and he starts to step back in towards his house. And this figure rushes towards him, like silent as though on the wind. And as Takube is about to go into his house, this figure grabs him by the back of the neck and swings him around. And he feels like scratching along the back of his neck. But Takube is, you know, he is a warrior. Even though he's now settled down into being a merchant, he's still very well trained. Yeah. So he like shakes this ghoulish figure off, and he reaches inside the entryway to his house, and he grabs a like small dagger that he has by the front door, and he whips around and he slashes at this figure. And as he's slashing at it, he's never able to land a blow because every time he gets close, it like flickers and disappears and then appears elsewhere.
Oh God, I love Japanese ghosts so much.
Right?
God, I love them so much.
So every time he gets close, this thing like just disappears and then reappears like behind him or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he is just slashing at the air and freaking out until finally he is like out of breath from just whipping around and trying to hit this thing. And this thing like flickers out and doesn't reappear. Until later.
Okay.
When it does reappear. And then also all the time from then on. So it just, after this night, it appears constantly to him. Anytime he is alone or anytime he is asleep, this figure appears to him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And he is very literally being haunted by, you know, the ghoul of this man who he has killed. He becomes so sick with paranoia and with exhaustion and malnourishment. Sleep. Exactly. He is like laid up in bed and he has a hard time distinguishing between what is real and what isn't. And so people around town start talking about how he's going crazy, right? Yeah. And there is a man staying a few streets over who hears about this. He hears that there is like a man who has gone from being a very respectable member of society to going crazy overnight. And they're like, yeah, he keeps screaming at people who aren't there. And so this man is like, I might actually be able to help. Right. So he goes to the Ronin's house and he presents himself to the Ronin's wife. And he's like, I think I can help your husband. I'm actually a priest. Oh. And the Ronin's wife is like, absolutely, like, we will take any help that we can get. She brings this priest inside and up to her husband's bedchambers where he is like sweaty and wrapped up in his sheets from just like screaming and writhing in terror at all times.
Yeah.
And at this moment, he is like exhausted and not moving. And this priest steps into the room and he starts screaming. And he starts screaming, "That's him. There he is. He's come back for me." And the priest turns to the Ronin's wife and is like, "I need you to get everybody out of this room." And she's like, "Understood. You're a priest. I trust you and I have no questions." And so she gets everyone out of the room and the priest leans in to this man on the bed and he whispers in his ear, "3 years ago, you pushed me into the sea and you thought me dead.
Ooh.
I bet you remember that. Good thing I can swim." Which is so fucking cool.
Yeah, this is badass.
And so he leans back away and he says, "I learned as a boy how to swim. And so after I was pushed off the boat, I turned around and I swam with all the energy left in my body to the shore. And I assumed you gone. I didn't think I would ever see you again. So I went on continuing my pilgrimage. I went and I continued to do odds and ends jobs to like make back this money because I still had this dream in my heart of like having this bronze cast Buddha statue put up at the shrine." And so he's like, "I spent the next 3 years making back the money that you took from me. I had the bronze statue cast put in the shrine, and I was headed home, and I stopped here for the night, and I heard a crazy rumor about this man who had gone mad, and no part of me thought that it was you. But I am a priest, first and foremost, and I thought that whoever it was, I might be able to find the cause of why they had gone insane. And now, upon seeing you here, I know what the cause is."
Yeah. It's guilt.
Yeah. And Takube is just like shaking and wide-eyed and panicked in the bed. And the priest says, "But as I said before, I am first and foremost a priest.
Oh, God.
I have no need for vengeance or anything of that nature. All I need you to do is say you're sorry. Just apologize and I will forgive you and you will be free of this specter. Because you can see I am standing here before you. I am not dead. I am a living man. So the only thing haunting you is your own guilt.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to forgive." And Takube just dissolves in a puddle of tears and like sobs and cries. He says that like every day since then, every day that he's grown richer and like grown more successful, all he can think about every single day is that his success has come at the cost of another man's life. Yeah. So he's like, I regret it. I regret everything. Like none of this is mine. This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife. No, it is. But the priest smiles and he says to him, "A guilty man shudders at the rustling of the wind or the chattering of a stork's beak. A murderer's conscience preys upon his mind until he sees what is not. Poverty drives a man to crimes which he regrets in his wealth." So he says, like, paranoia makes you crazy. Also, there is nothing that is worth, like, something that lays on your conscience like that, basically.
Yeah.
And also, after that, he talks for a little while about how it's like, mankind is inherently good and is corrupted towards evil over the course of his life. Yeah. We're not here for philosophy, we're here for ghosts. So Takube apologizes 100 times, and the priest is like, "It's okay. You're better now. I've done my job. I'm going to leave." And Takube is like, "Wait, let me get you." He goes and gets 400 silver ounces. And he's like, "This is the money that I took for you plus that amount. Again, please take it." And the priest is like, "I don't want that.
I don't want your blood money.
I don't want your fucking blood money." And Takube like sobs and is like, "Please take it. Like, I feel terrible and this is the only thing that'll make me feel better." And the priest is like, "Okay, fine." And
well, it's not my fucking job to make you feel better.
Yeah, right? And so he takes the silver and he goes off on his own. And as he travels, he gives the silver to the poor everywhere he goes. He never uses a single piece of silver for himself. Takube, meanwhile, is in his home and he is reformed and he becomes a philanthropist.
Oh, God.
And everyone loves him.
It's the whole Mark Wahlberg situation, huh?
Like, and that's the end.
Oh, fuck.
Yep.
Mark Wahlberg got to beat an old Asian man almost to death, and then later on became Mark Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm. Classic Morky Mork.
Just saying, that's what Takube is. Like, who cares if he's a philanthropist later on?
I agree.
His wife, they should have told his wife. She should have left him.
Yes. I absolutely agree. So a couple of things about this.
Yeah.
I don't like the ending. It's a huge bummer. I really wish that the priest had murdered him. I know that that's not what priests usually do, and I get that that's not the message that they were trying to send. It would have been cool, but it would be a better story.
Was the ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That would have been good and cool.
Yeah. Still a cool priest. I will say, it's still a cool priest, but we would like more justice.
Yes. Vengeance.
For us.
Yes. Yeah, I also so they describe the ghost as being like this like haggard, thin figure of a man next to a fir tree. But if you see a fir tree, it kind of looks like that.
Oh.
A little bit. Like it's like sort of like the hanging, like weird lumpy shapes kind of thing.
Could.
So I think it's not stated in this, but I think that it would be fair to extrapolate that he is going crazy and that he like brushed against a tree branch and thought that it was someone grabbing the back of his neck. And that he was just kind of like hallucinating this guy.
Yeah. I know that in China, there is a huge, like, the idea of bringing Christmas trees into our home is like unthinkable in China. At least I don't know if it's the same in Japan. I'm going to guess it probably is. But evergreen trees are symbols of death, specifically because those are planted at cemeteries because they are evergreen. And so it's the idea of like living forever. So they have a lot of like death symbolism. And so seeing them and seeing like a specter of somebody that you killed next to them makes a lot of sense. There's like a lot of symbolism in fir trees in that moment.
That's very cool. Yeah. I like that. Another thing that I like about the story is that a lot of times when you have stories about Japanese ghosts, they're about like fucked up little ghoulies. I like this one's just straight up like
no, he went crazy.
This is like this predates and is like entirely separate from, but it does feel like an Edgar Allan Poe story a little bit of like he goes crazy because he did a murder.
Yeah, 100%. It's his conscience.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I really like that as a lot of the stories are just like, oh, something bad happens to you, and like if you're very clever, you can get out of it. But this is very much like a conscience story that has a monster in it, which I think is very cool. It's very totally kind of rare in
that is
the Japanese stories that we've read.
Poe. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Yeah. I love that. I like the image of him flickering in and out and like just that's really cool.
Yeah. I agree.
Cool.
Yeah. I also like the idea that like the ghost looked like what he thought a man who had been drowned would look like, but then when he saw him in real life, he just looked like a guy and he still knew who it was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Pretty cool and good.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And pretty good.
Thanks. That's my ghost story for this week.
Woo! Okay. Well, and as we know, Halloween starts in July for stores. So it also starts in July for sort of the story. For stores and for stories.
Oh.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Let's take a quick break.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, Max.
Janey.
Max, okay. Today I'm going to tell you the story of the 12 Dancing Princesses. It is a Brothers Grimm story, and it's actually one that I read a version of this a long time ago that was very different than the version I'm going to tell you now. The version I'm telling you now is an Andrew Lang story. So I got a book called The Rainbow Fairy Book, and basically this illustrator, Michael Haig, took all of his basically favorite Andrew Lang stories from the books of many colors, and then he combined them into this one, the Rainbow Fairy Book. So he's like, these are the greatest hits. Yeah, that's what this is.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't think it's particularly necessary, but also that's because I'm collecting all of them, so it is necessary if you just want to buy one book.
Yeah, it does feel like one of those things where they came up with the title and then came up with the idea for it.
Yeah, right? You know? Yeah, I agree. So in this version, it's very different from the one that I originally read, but I'm excited to tell you the differences later. But for now, this is the Andrew Lang version of The 12 Dancing Princesses.
Wow, that's a lot of princesses.
Oh, get ready. And they are psychotic.
Oh, no.
Once upon a time, there was a little cowboy.
Aw. What?
He had no father and no mother.
What?
Yeah, they call him a little cowboy several times.
Oh my God.
His real name is Michael, but everyone... Don't make fun of Michael, the little cowboy.
The tiniest cowboy in the West. Little Mikey. Little Mikey pea shooter.
Stick him up. Wait, no,
Come
that's...
on, stick 'em up.
Well, I'm thinking of an old school gangster.
Oh.
Okay.
I was with you.
His real name was Michael, but everyone called him Stargazer because when he drove his cows out to pasture, he, quote, went along with his head in the air, gaping at nothing. So Michael,
Wow.
a little bit dumb.
Love it.
Yeah. He had fair skin, bright blue eyes, and really curly hair. And the illustration of this book has his curly hair being dark brown. Mm-hmm. And so I was imagining a Hugh Dancy.
Oh.
Right?
All
and
right.
I was like, oh, straight up hottie. Later on, they're like, actually, he's blonde. And I'm like, wow, you made him less hot on purpose.
Why would you do that? Oh, I see. I didn't see him at first.
I
was like, wow, he's still pretty hot. That's a woman who isn't maybe an angel or a fairy.
Yeah. I showed Max the illustration, which is going to make sense later, but it's of a really hot blonde woman in a gold dress that almost looks like armor because it is so textured. And she has angel wings and she's glowing and she has like blonde bombshell hair and red lips and she's looking down, and Max thought that was who I was talking about, but just underneath her there's a stupid little boy.
That's an ugly little boy.
An ugly fucking kid. Like, Michael Haig is a great illustrator, but I do think that he obviously likes women more than he likes men.
Yeah, that kid looks like a turnip.
And that woman is gorgeous. Anyway, so that's him. In here, he's drawn with dark brown hair, and I was imagining Hugh Dancy.
This feels like partway between like some of the Grimm's Brothers illustrations where it's like kind of like the woodcut style. Like he looks like he's in that older woodcut style.
Yeah.
She looks like she's in like the horny Catholic images of like angels and saints.
And it's rendered the way that airbrushed paintings on the sides of vans are. Like, this looks like a metal, like, she should be in a bikini on a bear, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. So I'll put a picture of this on the Instagram and in the Discord. So he had fair skin, bright blue eyes, and golden curls. And because he was so hot, the village girls used to cry out to him, "Well, Stargazer, what are you doing?" That's a quote.
Just gazing.
And he'd reply, "Nothing." And then he'd walk away without stopping to talk to them at all. They were like, "He's so hot." And he's like, "Bye."
I saw a really good cloud yesterday. Wait, why am I telling you? You didn't see it.
He just walks away saying, "Mashed potatoes." Llama. The truth was, Stargazer thought they were all ugly.
Whoa! I went from being on this guy's side to not being on this guy's side so quickly.
They had, quote, sunburned necks and great red hands. And they wore coarse petticoats and wooden shoes like real uggos.
As someone with a sunburned neck and big red hands, how dare you?
How very dare you? And my petticoat can be as coarse as I want.
Yeah, that's a me problem.
I wasn't raised well. It's not my fault. So he had been told by someone, I don't know who, he had been told once that somewhere in the world there were girls who always dressed in the finest silks, whose necks were pale and whose hands were small.
A goose.
They were called princesses.
Oh.
And he really wanted to marry a princess. And so he was mean to all of the girls in his village because of that.
This dude sucks.
Yes. I want to talk about it at the end.
I was like, "Aw, he's just a sweet boy who
No.
likes to look out at the stars." And
he
fucking
sucks.
Idiot asshole.
I was thinking of like a little cowboy Ferdinand, but in reality, he's just a dick.
Yeah.
So one morning, in the middle of a hot August day, Michael finished eating his dinner of a single piece of dry bread, just like Mom used to make. And
He's carbo loading.
And he took a nap under an old oak tree while the cows were out to pasture. And he dreamed that honestly, actually reading that makes me think that I would really like the job of being a cowherd. Like somebody who just walks cows to let them graze and takes naps under trees.
I would get bored. And also bugs. That's my 2 points.
I would get bored and bugs.
I would get bugs. I would get lice. Guaranteed.
That's the max guarantee. So
you know your girl is gonna get lice.
Come on, she's gonna be out with the cow. She's got to get lice. So he's napping under this old oak tree. He dreamed that a beautiful lady dressed in a robe of golden cloth appeared to him. That's her.
Oh, wow, beautiful.
And she said, quote, "Go to the castle Belloil." Belloil. I forgot to look that up. She said, go
oil your bell.
She said, "Go to the castle of Belloil, and there you shall marry a princess." Okay, so it's in Belgium. I looked it up. It's a real castle. It's in Belgium. Belloe attached to each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Belloil.
Belloil?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. "Go to the castle of Belloil, and there you shall marry a princess." He told his dream to some of the farmers, like when he got back, and he's like, "I had this dream that this really hot lady came to me and said that if I go to Belloil, then I will marry a princess."
Actually, maybe Belloil.
I don't know. And they all laughed at him, right? And they were like, "Wow, that's a really weird dream, my dude. I also had a weird dream. All my teeth fell out." And he was like, "Bye." Walked away. They're like, "That guy sucks."
You know what? I kind of feel like he thinks I'm not hot enough for him. And it's like...
Do you think it's because of my big red hands?
Why can't he just appreciate me for being really good at herding cows?
Oh, Jeremy, you are good at herding cows.
Thanks, man. I needed to hear that today.
So he walks away being rude. The next day, he has the same dream again. This lady appears to him and says, "Hey, go to the castle of Belloil, and there you shall marry a princess. I already told you once. Go." And he wakes up and he's like, "Oh my God, I just had the same dream twice." So he tells his friends again, and they all laugh again, and they're like, "That is really weird. I had a dream as well." And he's like, "Anyway," just walks away. And he thinks to himself, "If the lady appears to me a third time, I will do as she tells me."
You dumb fuck.
And then he packed up his shit and he quit his job and he went to Belloil.
Did it happen a third time?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
The story doesn't say
worse.
that. He's like, "Maybe if she comes to me one more time," and then he just leaves.
He's like, "If she comes back, I'm gonna go." Wait, what was I just talking about?
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go.
The farmer he worked for was really mad at him because he was out to pasture and just like he had started to walk the cows out and then was like, "Actually, no," and he just led them back. And the farmer was like, "What the fuck? You can't just leave in the middle of a shift." And Michael quietly says, "I am going away." And then he walks into a valley with a bundle tied to the end of a stick.
I am back on Michael's side now. That's a hilarious way to quit your job. Just be like, "I think I'm going to go now. Goodbye."
At the castle of Belloil. Okay, now I'm cutting over to there.
Mm-hmm.
At this castle,
time has passed.
There were 12 beautiful princesses. They were said to be so sensitive and of such truly royal blood that they could feel the presence of a pea in their beds, even if it was under a mattress.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how you know they're princesses. And one of them always peed the bed. There, I worked it into my story. Are you happy?
I'm really glad you said it because I was about to say it. They always know when there's pee in their bed. A lady always knows. That's just a woman's intuition.
Lady always knows. I'm also in a golden robe.
Terrible. Terrible.
So they were known to sleep through morning and not get up till midday. And it says, "As princesses are wont to do." And I'm like, also me. Also how I want to do.
I like that they're depicting that as fancy and not sleepy.
They are uncomfortable on their mattress and they sleep until the afternoon.
Same.
Me.
Same.
I am a princess.
Oh my God, this is how we find out. I have a quick question for you. Can you tell if you feed the bed?
Every time.
It has to be true.
I had this dream that all my teeth fell out.
I don't need to know about that.
Goodbye.
That's disgusting.
Okay. So all 12 princesses slept in one room. They had 12 beds, but one room.
I thought you were going to say in one bed.
All 12 princesses.
They can tell if anyone has peed the bed.
It's actually way easier to tell. So they slept in one room in 12 beds, and at night, their room was locked by triple bolts, and it was guarded heavily, and their windows were locked, and all of this stuff. Well, I guess their windows weren't locked, but they were really high up, so you couldn't get in and out.
Uh-huh. So there's 4 princesses per lock is the exchange right there. Is that what we're going for?
And you will be required to do that math when you cross the border with those princesses. So this is noteworthy, right? Because even with all of that security, every morning their satin shoes were found worn to holes. Every morning. And when asked about it, they always told their dad, the Duke, that they had been asleep all night long. They're like, I don't know. You tell us why our shoes are dirty, because we were here.
Maybe you should get us shoes that are made of something besides satin, and maybe then they would last longer.
Yeah, Dad. This drove him crazy because he didn't believe them. He was like, shoes don't wear themselves out. And also, all of our, like, coffers, everything is being made just to make you new shoes. So, you need to stop it. Eventually, the Duke made a proclamation. Whoever could figure out what was going on with his daughters could choose one of them to marry. So a number of princes, of course, came to the castle to try their luck. They watched the doors all night long. They were like, oh, I'm gonna figure this out. Nobody ever came in and out. And in the morning, the princesses were in the room. The princes were not.
Oh, no.
The princes went missing every time they came.
Oh, no. I would like to pitch to you what the princesses are doing.
Yeah.
They're putting on their shoes and they are running laps around the room to get a little cardio. And that's why they're so tired every day.
Yeah, they're so tired.
They're doing jazzercise in the princess room.
They're so buff, too.
They got lung capacity for days.
Yeah, they're Lizzo. So.
True.
And Miley Cyrus. 2 people with great lung capacity.
Mm-hmm. Aquaman.
By morning, the princes had always disappeared and no one knew what happened to them or ever saw them again. And then no one opened up an investigation about this because no one cared. Just new princes would come in and they would go missing too. Michael / Stargazer. The story interchanges the names, so I'm going to as well. Just to make things fun.
Mike Gazer.
Mike Gazer. Mike that old geezer.
Star Miker.
Stargazer reached the castle, and he immediately, instead of going to the king, because he's like, yeah, the king's not going to see me. So instead, he went to the gardener and asked for a job. And it just so happened that the old garden boy had been sent away. And, quote, though Stargazer did not look very sturdy, the gardener agreed to take him, as he thought that his pretty face and golden curls would please the princesses. End quote. Huh. Yeah, this is when you find out he's blonde. The first thing he was told to do was to wait until the princesses woke up. He's like, eventually they're going to wake up, probably around like 1 or 2.
Sure.
They sleep all day, and that's their prerogative. They're tired ladies. So he had to wait until they woke up and then present each of them with a bouquet, which Michael thought was a pretty good deal. He was like, that's it? And the gardener was like, yeah, that's what you got to do. And Michael's like, okay, as long as it doesn't get any worse than this is a pretty sweet job.
Mm-hmm.
My only job is to give them flowers. Pretty girls, flowers. Pretty girls love flowers.
And then he finds that he has a deep and abiding love for being a florist and goes off to start his own little flower shop.
Oh, he becomes that one beautiful TikTok florist. That boy that always does like the goth flower arrangements and like...
I don't know about this.
Oh, I'm going to find this late. Oh my God, that's who he is. Oh, I love him now. Okay. All he does is arrange the most beautiful floral arrangements ever. Like that's the whole thing. It's just him putting flowers together. And then at the end of the video, he just hands it towards the flower. Like he's just earnestly offering you flowers. He never talks. He's beautiful.
This is your perfect man.
That's my perfect man. Anyway, the worst thing about men is when they talk. So he went to the princess's door and he waited for them to wake up. And then he presented each one with a bouquet. They were really snobby and none of them even deigned to look at him. They just kind of sneered. But Lena, the youngest, fixed her... This is her description, I love it. Her large black eyes, as soft as velvet, on him, and exclaimed, "Oh, how pretty he is, our new flower boy."
Aw.
So first of all, I love that Lena is dark-eyed. Like, they describe her as being a lot darker, and her eyes are like velvet. And I just love that she's like, "Oh, you're so pretty. I mean, nothing." I hate flowers. I like Lena.
Good.
Her sisters all laughed at her and, like, rolled her eyes, and he left thinking, well, that's the one. I gotta marry her. That's my princess. I'm in love with her. I would die for her. And he's like, I gotta figure out how to get an in with these princesses. Luckily, that night he had another dream. The golden lady appeared and gave him 2 young laurel trees, 1 cherry laurel and 1 rose laurel, as well as a little golden rake, a little golden bucket, and a silk towel.
Aw, he's gonna be such a fancy little flower boy.
I know. She instructed him to plant the trees in 2 large pots, rake them with the little rake, water them with the bucket, and to wipe them with the little silk towel. And then, when they grew to be the size of a 15-year-old girl, which is a unit of measurement in gardening, just ask your father. They were to say, that felt like a really weird, like, your dad joke.
No, my dad's a gardener.
Your dad's a gardener.
He's a master gardener and a landscaping engineer.
I wasn't making a your dad joke. Anyway, just to be clear. So when they're the size of a 15-year-old girl, say to each of them, quote, my beautiful laurel, with the golden rake I have raked you, with the golden bucket I have watered you, with the silken towel I have wiped you. And then, whatever he asked of them, they had to give it to him.
Ugh.
It's not as sinister. I don't know why I said it's so sinister.
Seems a little sinister, especially since they're the size of a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
That feels on purpose.
He's like, I groomed you. Now you have to give me what I want. This is an allegory and a clunky one. So Michael thanked her and then woke up, and he found all the supplies next to him, so he obeyed his orders immediately. And the trees grew quickly, and when they were the height of a 15-year-old girl, we all know the height, 5'4".
What?
5'4". I think average height of a 15-year-old.
I was 5'10" at 15.
I mean, I was 5'8". Actually, I stopped growing around that time. I was like 5'7", 5'8".
And then you started shrinking.
I am 5'8".
Janey is 4'9".
My feet are only getting bigger, though. It's alarming.
You're gonna be so fucking stable.
Woo! Try to push me over. I fucking dare you. So when it's the right height, 5'6", he said to the cherry laurel, I raked you, I watered you, I wiped you. Now give me what I want. I want to be invisible.
What?
Is it teach me how to be invisible? And so a pretty white flower grew on the tree just then, and he plucked it and he stitched it into his buttonhole. Writing the word buttonhole and not making it butthole was a real challenge for me.
Every time. Every time.
I don't like the word buttonhole. I wish it was butthole.
I think it's an indicator of who I am as a person that one time I was talking about a buttonhole, and I was texting somebody about it, and my autocorrect was like, do you mean butthole?
I've said this before, but one time with my very old phone that was like a brick and it had like a sliding case that went up and down, and I literally used to throw it across the room just for fun because it was always fine.
You psycho.
One time it changed the word Monday to Mexican hat dance. All one word, all capital.
Mexican hat dance.
And all I can think is that Junior it had to have been my little brother that went in there and like manually changed the word Monday to Mexican hat dance, because I've never in my life, not once, have I ever typed the word Mexican hat dance that excitedly, especially. Anyway.
Good.
I was like, hey, do you want to study on Mexican hat dance? Buttonhole. So that night, he took off his shoes to avoid making any noise, and he snuck under, and he became invisible, and then he snuck under one of the 12 beds in the princess's rooms, right? He listened as the princesses opened their wardrobes, and they dressed in their prettiest dresses. This story makes a point to be like, he can't see anything, he's under a bed.
Good.
Yeah. Other versions don't make that point, and also he's not a young guy. So he's an old man in the other ones.
Oh.
But he's under the bed, and the princesses are getting ready. They're getting dressed. After they got ready, they turn around and around in front of their mirrors to admire their appearances, and they're like, we're so pretty. And he hears them laughing and jumping and gossiping. And then, eventually, the eldest says, be quick, my sisters. Our partners will be impatient. So he peeks out from under the bed, invisible, and he sees them all in their pretty dresses and their satin shoes, and they're each holding the bouquet that he had brought them that day. The eldest sister clapped her hands 3 times, and a trap door opens.
And they all fall in.
In the Grimm's brother version of this story, she claps her hand and she like touches her bed, and her bed sinks below the floor and reveals a staircase.
Oh my god, she's got a lair.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool. So they disappear down a secret staircase, and Michael follows them quickly and quietly. He was a little too hasty, though, because he accidentally stepped on Lena's dress. And she jumped up and she cried, "There's somebody behind me! They grabbed my dress!" And her eldest sister at the front rolls her eyes and is like, "You are such a fucking scaredy cat. There's nothing there, okay? You're fine. It's a nail that caught your dress." Good Lord, she's so fucking stupid. And then she just keeps walking and Lena's like, "Okay.
Guess I better not look.
I guess I'm a fucking idiot."
Oh, right, he's invisible.
He's an idiot, yeah. So they go down.
Sorry, I said he's invisible.
Yeah.
You said he's an idiot. I said oh, yeah, I forgot. He's invisible. And you said, yeah, he's an idiot.
I really thought I had agreed with you about the invisible thing. That was my id. So they went down the stairs until at last they came to a door that was fastened with a single latch. The eldest princess threw it open, and suddenly they were in a lovely little wood where all the leaves were silver.
Ooh.
Yeah. Am I boring you?
Yeah.
I also do one now. Hold on. Okay. They crossed into another wood where all the leaves were gold. And finally, they made it to a third wood where all the leaves were diamonds.
Oh, dogs with big old eyes. All the leaves are dogs with gigantic eyeballs.
All the leaves are dogs with big old eyes. And we're all so scared. And we're all so scared. Throw the king up into the air. Okay, go listen to that story. What story is it? The big dog.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a guy's name. It's like Hubert or something.
Okay, go read the story, Hubert. Okay, we'll find it at the end. At last, after going through the silver, gold, and diamond trees, they make it to a lake, and on the shore of that lake, there are 12 little boats with awnings on them, and in each of the boats sit 12 handsome princes, grasping oars and waiting for the princesses.
Are they the ones who went missing?
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
The princesses climbed into the boats. Michael jumped on with Lena, the youngest, because he was right behind her, and they were rowed to the other side. Now, today, Lena's boat is much heavier than it usually is, and she asked the prince, like, "Why are we going so slow?" And he's like, "I don't know. I can assure you I'm rowing as hard as I can."
Do you have a big dinner?
Honestly, I'm like, if I was a teenager and I realized that suddenly my boat was going the slowest, I would have been mortified.
Yeah.
Like a whole man is in that boat with them. The only thing different that he can see is her. Little me would have just jumped into the water and let the lake take me. So on the other side, there was a beautifully illuminated castle. And inside, you could hear the sound of like lively music. Like there's a band playing like trumpets and fiddles and drumming. And it's just like so fun. The princes secured their boats and they offered the princesses their arms. And then they escorted them into the castle where they immediately just start dancing and dancing and dancing. So the stargazer was, quote, bewildered at the magnificence of the sight. Magnificence.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid I wouldn't say that right.
You did great.
I kept saying magnificence. There was mirrors and lights and flowers hanging everywhere. And so he sat in the corner out of the way and he just kind of admired the beauty of the princesses as they danced. So the sisters, at this point, we get kind of a description. They all looked different. Some were fair and some were dark. So they clearly all have different moms. This king got around.
Or dads.
Oh. You think the Duke would let them all stay in one room if they were all from different dads? There's no Duchess. Duchess.
There's no Duchess.
Some had chestnut hair, some had black hair, some were blonde, but he didn't think any of them were as beautiful as Lena, the little princess with the velvet eyes, is how he describes her.
Oh.
Obviously, and she's like, the little princess and the little cowboy is what they should have called this.
Oh, no.
Obviously, Lena liked dancing more than anything else in the world, and she also was having more fun than any of her sisters. She twirled and twirled, she leaned on her partner's shoulders, her cheeks were flushed, her eyes were sparkling, and Stargazer envied her partner, though he shouldn't have, because the princes here were actually the princes that had gone missing from the castle that nobody had investigated. It says, quote...
Wait, are the princesses holding them captive?
Quote, the princesses had made them drink something of a filter, Philter, which froze the heart and left nothing but the love of dancing. Yeah, they drugged them.
They gave them ecstasy?
They drugged them so that they could dance with them at night. They're missing from their families.
They fucking dosed them with Molly.
They are princes. They have, like, obligations to their lands.
This is wild. That's not where I saw this going.
Yeah, these princesses are fucked. So they danced until their shoes were worn out, and then they were served supper by boys. I love this, such a little girl fantasy. And then boys bring us food.
A boy feeds me popcorn.
The supper consisted of, quote, sugared orange flowers, crystallized rose leaves, powdered violets, cracknels, wafers, and other dishes, which are, as everyone knows, the favorite food of princesses.
Yeah, princesses can only eat flowers and they never fart.
And they always know when they peep the bed. Princess. So, after they had eaten, they went back to their boats. This time, Stargazer got into the boat with the eldest sister and crossed again to... What?
And the eldest sister's boyfriend was like, babe, are you like...
How many flowers did you eat? So, they go back to their boats. This time, Stargazer with the eldest sister. And they cross again to the diamond forest, then the gold, and then the silver. So he's like, I need some proof of what I've seen here. And so as they're walking through the silver forest, Michael broke a small branch from the tree to take with him. And the second he did it, it made like a snapping sound. So Lena turns around and she's like, what was that? There's somebody here. I heard it. And her older sister rolls her eyes and says, it was only the screech of the barn owl that roosts in one of the turrets of the castle.
That's not what that sounds like.
Snap. Classic barn owl. Am I right, Maria? Let us know in the Discord.
I can't crack any of my fingers right now.
She's trying really hard to crack her fingers into the microphone, and it is, she's not having fun. I'm not having fun.
That was bad. I just cracked them all a minute ago, very quietly, under the table. So they're still,
they're cracked.
Yeah.
So
they're
her
still
sister,
recharging.
Her sister is like, shut the fuck up, Lena, you idiot. It's just a barn owl. So Lena's like...
Also, barn owls are the ones that go, who cooks for you? That's what they sound like. They go, who cooks for you?
Boys. Boys.
Boys cooks for me.
So Michael managed to sneak ahead of the girls, and he like raced up to the top of the stairs into the princess's rooms, and then he jumped out of the window. He slid down a vine, and he found himself in the garden just as the sun was coming up, and the gardener walked out of his house and said, oh good, you're here. Okay, time for work. So now he has to like go to work, and he's like, oh fuck.
I'm so sleepy.
I get to sleep all day now. So that day, when he made the bouquets, he hid the silver branch in Lena's bouquet. She was surprised to see it, but she said nothing to her sisters. She's like, because I think she feels like she's in kind of trouble. Also, her older sister's so mean to her. So that day, she ran into Michael in like the staircase on accident, and she started to say something, but then she closed her mouth and she like ran away. She like thought better of it. She's like, I don't know what this is, and I don't want to let him know that I know anything, so bye. That evening, the sisters again went to the ball, and Stargazer followed, invisible, as he had the night before. He climbed into the boat with Lena, and her prince this time was like, why is the boat so heavy? And Lena's like, it's the heat.
What?
She's like, I'm feeling it too, it's really hot. That's a line that's in like both of the stories. Like, she's just like, I don't know, maybe it's really hot. I'm also kind of hot. And the prince is like, sure. During the ball, she looked everywhere for the gardener's boy, but she didn't see him. Like, she's now like, he must have been there, but like, he's just not. As they came back, Michael snapped off a branch from the gold tree, but this time it was the eldest princess that heard the noise of it breaking. And Lena was like, oh, that's nothing. That's just the cry of the owl which roosts in the turrets of the castle, right?
You know when you snap a stick and it goes, hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Bob White.
Classic tree sounds.
The next day, the gold branch was in her bouquet, and she stayed back as her sisters went down to breakfast, and she asked him, this is like a dialogue, okay? She says, where did this branch come from? And Michael responded, your royal highness knows well enough. And she said, so you followed me? And he said, yes, princess. And she said, how did you manage it? We never saw you. And he just like, he replies quietly, I hid myself. And so she's like, kind of getting annoyed with him, and she says, you know our secret. Keep it. Here's the reward for your discretion. And she flings a purse that's filled with coins at him, and he looks at it, hits the floor, and he looks at it for a second. He responds, quote, I do not sell my silence. And then he walks away without touching it. Whew. Okay. Thank you. I hate to admit it, but this is hot. Michael's weirdly hot. Okay. For 3 nights, Lena...
It would be hotter if I didn't know that he is rich. And
He's not rich.
Is he not?
No, he's a poor orphan.
Oh, okay.
He came here with a fucking bundle on his shoulder.
He seems... The fact that he just left his job and was like, I'm going to leave now, goodbye, bespeaks to me of some kind of...
Well, it could either be, like, privileged kid that doesn't understand, or he's an orphan who's like, there's literally nothing for me here, and staying here, like, nobody's taking care of me. Nobody's taking care of me ever. Like, I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
It could be on either end of the spectrum, and on one side, it's deeply unattractive, and on the other side, it's weirdly hot.
Yeah.
What's not hot is that he was like, all the girls here are red-necked and ugly. So, but we're going to forget about that because I do think he's really hot. So, for 3 nights, Lena didn't hear or see anything unusual. But on the 4th night, she heard a rustling in the diamond forest. And the next day, she found the diamond branch in her bouquet. And so she pulled Stargazer aside to yell at him. She told him, you know what? My father... No, I put a period there and it shouldn't have been.
You know what, my father?
She pulled him aside to yell at him, and she told him, you know what my father promised to pay for our secret? And he said, I know, princess. And she said, do you mean to tell him? And he says, that's not my intention. And she says, are you afraid? And he said, no. And she's like, well, what makes you so discreet then? And he doesn't answer her. And she's like, what do you want? Me? Just tell me if that's what you want, because am I getting a vibe? Lena's sister, like, saw her talking to him, and they just immediately started teasing her, and they're like, you're gonna end up marrying a gardener, and you're gonna be fucking disgusting. Every day, you're gonna have to, like, make your own bed and get your own water. Hee hee.
And make yourself your bouquets.
Yeah. And she's, like, really angry, and she's like, stop it, I do not. And they're like, you like him. And she's like, I do not, I hate him. So that day when he gives her bouquet, she, like, receives it with an attitude. And he's like, okay. Because also she's such a brat. So for his part, she's such a brat, and also she is currently drugging a man and keeping him in her basement. So. For his part, he remained very respectful. He kept his eyes down. He didn't make a scene. You know, it wasn't like he was like, we've talked before. He like let her have her little tantrum. But that whole day, she felt like he was by her side, even though she couldn't see him, because she knows that he's somehow getting in, and she does not know how. Finally, one day, she told her eldest sister about him. She's like, I've been keeping a secret for so long, but I gotta tell someone. The eldest sister is like, oh, he's gonna ruin this whole operation. We need to get rid of him. And Lena's like, get rid of him how? And the eldest sister says, we'll have him taken to the tower and then thrown in the dungeons, and then, like, killed or starved or something. It's fine. And then the story said, quote, for this was the way that in old times beautiful princesses got rid of people who knew too much.
These princesses are serial killers.
They are fucked up.
They have also him being like, yeah, no, I'm not going to tell anyone your secret. Of course he's fucking not. She's got a man drugged in the basement.
She has 12 men.
Good God.
But Lena was a little appalled by this. She's like, okay, well, he hasn't told our father anything, and he's known for a while. And also, like, I don't want him to be murdered just so I can dance sometimes. Like, Jesus Christ. And so they are arguing. So they bring the dilemma to the other 10 sisters. And they all agree with the eldest. They're like, we need to get rid of him. And Lena's like, you know what, guys? If you do this, then I'm just going to tell our dad myself. All right? So you're going to have to fucking choose. We're not having him thrown in the dungeon. He hasn't done anything. And so they're like, fine. Oh, you know what we can do? We'll just drug him and make him our slave. And she's like, yes. And they're like, yay! And then they
Finally,
all
someone's
like,
being reasonable.
we'll add him to our collection of men who are there against their will.
I want to know about the guy, her dance partner. Or what are they going to do with him?
Oh my God.
Like, oh, we can put him in the dungeon to die. That's fine.
Max, I can't wait to get to the end of the story. So they summon him, right? And the eldest sister's like, you're going to the ball with us tonight? Since clearly you know everything, you get to come with us tonight. Dress in your fanciest, disgusting garden clothes, you piece of shit. And Michael's like, yeah, of course, I'll do anything you ask. I'm at your service. Now, secretly, of course, he had been at this meeting, and he's like, great. They're definitely going to drug me and turn me into a zombie. But he says that, honestly, taking the filter and dancing with Lena every night seems like not a bad life. He's like, that's
a bummer.
Well, he's also a gardener. Like, he's not wealthy. He would never be able to marry her unless he betrays her. You know, he's like, fuck it. Like, if this is the only way to be close to her and my only other alternative is telling her dad, like, her business, then fuck it.
Yeah, all right.
I'll be her zombie dance partner. Yeah. Yeah. Trying really hard not to find this shitty creeper attractive. And I am failing. So he didn't want to embarrass her by showing up in his shitty garden clothes, though. So he went to the rose laurel and he said, I raked you, I watered you, I wiped you, you know, whatever. Dress me like a prince. And so the tree produced a beautiful pink flower. And the moment he plucked it, he found himself dressed in velvet that matched the black eyes of the princess. So it was like the same color as her eyes. Black.
Sure.
There was no whites of her eyes.
Oh, God. I do like that the prince has a magical girl transformation sequence in this.
He has a makeover. Yeah, this is great. He was also given a cap to match, a diamond egret, which is the feather plume that they put in the hat.
I'm pretty sure that's a bird.
It's made out of an egret feather.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's why they call it that.
That's wild.
And a blossom of the rose laurel in his buttonhole. He then presented himself to the Duke. And he asked him to give, and he's like, hey, you know that thing that you had where somebody can go and try to figure out what's happening with your daughters? Do you mind if I try? And he's dressed so well and he looks so distinguished that no one really recognized him. And the Duke was like, sure, yeah, no, go up there and watch their door.
You seem like probably a prince.
It's fine. You know that the other ones didn't come. You know, actually, I don't care. So he's given permission. So he waited behind their door until they opened it and they gestured for him to follow them in. And then he followed them through the secret passageway. And this time, he didn't cross the lake with Lena. But instead, which I guess Lena was like, I think, expecting him to. But instead, he like gave his arm to the eldest princess. And he's like, can I escort you? And she's like, fine. I guess you're not horrifically ugly. And I guess your clothes are fine.
And her boyfriend, Aiden, who's the quarterback, is like, hey, man.
Oh, come on, guys. So that night, he danced with all of the sisters, like, in, like, order, right? So he started with the eldest sister, and then he danced with all of them. He was very graceful. He's a great dancer. And they're all delighted. They're like, this is so fun, actually. He's going to be a great collection to our horde. And so finally, he was able to dance with Lena, and she found him to be the best partner in the world, but he didn't speak to her at all. Like, I think he was nervous, so he was just very quiet and dancing with her and, like, letting her have a great time. And so she's like, maybe he's nervous, and also she's a little nervous because she kind of has a crush on him, so they're just like, it's like dancing at the school dance. When he was taking her to her place at the table, she said in a mocking voice, here you are at the summit of your wishes. You're being treated like a prince, because she still, I think, thinks that he's trying to get something from her. Mm-hmm. And he, for the first time that night, speaks to her and he says, don't be afraid. You shall never be a gardener's wife. And then he leaves and she's like, oh, oof. Okay. Well, all right.
Is he mad at her? He should be mad at her.
I think he's just not backing down from her. You know, I don't know if he's mad at her, but she's throwing a tantrum and being a fucking brat. And he's like, I'm not going to apologize, but yeah, you don't have to fucking marry me. I don't know. So that really throws her off her game. And I found that very attractive. They all sat at the table and the serving boys began to set the food out. Michael was sat next to the eldest sister and he was sat across from the youngest.
Question.
Yes.
Serving boys.
Yeah. Not the princes. They're all at the table.
The princes are at the table, but there's also separate boys?
Yes. That's why I'm saying that's such a little girl fantasy.
I thought that it was the boys that they were dancing with then served them food. They have other additional boys.
Yeah, and those additional boys are, who's the K-pop band? My brain is saying BTK. That's just not it.
BTS.
BTS. Yeah, and the boys are just BTS and One Direction. And at the end of this, the Duke is going to sell the girls to One Direction. Okay, so... So BTS is now serving them all food. And everyone's like chatting up Michael and they're all complimenting him on his dancing and on his clothes. And they're like, you're so handsome. And he has all of this, like, they're constantly pushing alcohol at him. And he's like, thank you. But he makes a special, like, conscious effort to not get drunk at this party and to, like, kind of not let these compliments, like, get to him because he knows that this is also a trick, right? Mm-hmm. Finally, the eldest sister motioned for a page to bring her a golden cup, and she handed it to him, and she said, well, quote, the enchanted castle has no more secrets for you. Let us drink to your triumph. And he looks at the little princess really briefly, and she, like, looks away from him, and then he, like, shrugs, and he's like, okay. And he raises the cup to his lips, and just as he's about to drink, she cries out, stop, don't drink it. I would rather marry a gardener. I don't want to sleep. That's not, I don't know if it's an odd thing. It kind of is, though. So he, like, threw the cup behind her. I said he threw up behind him.
He's like, oh, thank God. But I was so drunk.
He's like, I actually drank some blood. Just purge that. He threw the cup behind him, and he leapt over the table.
What?
And he fell at her feet. And then it says, quote, the rest of the princes fell likewise at the knees of the princesses, each of whom chose a husband and raised him to her side, and the charm was broken, end quote.
What about the other guy?
The 12 couples went back in their boats, but leaving one guy to just go fuck himself.
He's one of the serving boys now.
They passed through the 3 woods, and when they passed through the door of the underground passage, they heard a great noise, as if the enchanted castle were crumbling to the earth. They heard this explosion.
What about all the boys?
Wait, look at the all caps. What about the musicians? What about all the birds? What about the other guy? Hello? BTS was in there. So they then
sorry, BTS got BTK'd, by which I mean building toppled, killed.
They look around and they go, it was a pleasure serving with you. So they went to the room of the Duke, who had just woken up because it's morning time.
And also because his castle is crumbling from beneath.
Underneath, just like, I cannot believe that it ends with it, like, exploding.
It's like it was briefly directed by fucking
Michael Bay.
Yeah, they were like, we don't have an ending. Michael, you got anything? And he's like, I know.
Michael held the golden cup up, and he's like, hey, I know what happened. Here's this golden cup. And he reveals everything. The secret of the holes in the shoes. The Duke told him, he's like, oh, great. Okay, well, choose a bride. And Stargazer tells him that, like, oh, I made my decision a long time ago. And he takes Lena's hand, and she's, like, blushing. She did not become a gardener's wife. Instead, they made Michael a prince, which makes more sense than making her a gardener.
I don't think that's how that works.
Before the marriage, however.
You know, when you get married, you have to choose which one of you is going to take the other one's job. It's like, I really like him, but he's a photographer, and I just don't have an eye like that.
You think that's bad? My guy works in a coal mine.
And I have emphysema.
His will always be star-crossed lovers.
I sure wish he could be mine.
Okay.
Also, I'm dying.
Okay, before the marriage, right? Before their wedding, Lena was like, you need to tell me how you learned my secret before we get married. And so he's like, oh. So he tells her all about the 2 laurels that had helped him, and he brings her to them, and she smiles at them because they're so beautiful, right? They're, like, glowing, and she's like, wow, you brought us together. And then she cut them off at the root and threw them in a fire. What? It says she thought they, quote, gave him too much advantage over his wife. And then she takes out a gun and she shoots both of them in the head. And this is how it ends. It ends with a French nursery rhyme, and I did listen to it, and I gave myself phonetics because I was dying to do it, and now I can't remember. It says, this is how it ends, quote, and this is why the country girls go about singing, nous n'aurons plus à boire, les lauriers sont coupés, which means, That's okay.
I couldn't understand it from what you said.
And
something
I said
about
it
rain?
I said it flawlessly.
Something about the rain.
Nous n'aurons plus à boire, les lauriers sont coupés. And dancing in the summer by the light of the moon. That's how it ends. It means, nous n'aurons plus à boire means we won't go to the woods again. Les lauriers sont coupés means the laurels have been cut. It's like a really famous French nursery rhyme. And it's based off, they said that's the reason why, is because she shot those laurel trees in the head and then burned the bodies.
And then pissed on their graves.
And she's like, and I know.
That's my fucking man. And then she keys his car just for fun.
Okay, so that's the end of the story. There's another Grimm version of the story this is the one that I knew beforehand.
Grimm's brothers, or just, it's Grimm?
No, the Grimm's brothers. It's actually more grim than this. It's, instead of Stargazer, like a young, hot guy, the main character is an old soldier who's been wounded in battle and he can't fight anymore. And so he decides, like, fuck it, I'll answer the king's call. The king was like, if anybody can tell me what's happening to my daughters and also to all of the men who keep disappearing, because, like, what the hell, then I will make them a prince and then they'll inherit the kingdom when I die.
And they can marry me.
So the old soldier meets an old woman in the woods, a woman who's age appropriate for him, by the way. I want you to remember that. Mm-hmm. She gives him the tools and instructions on how to catch the princesses. And he sees the 12 of them with their 12 princes when he, like, follows them, right? He's invisible. He takes the golden cup and the branches to the king at the end, and he tells him what happened. And the king was like, which of my daughters do you want to marry them? So he actually does go and tell them. And the soldier says, well, I'm not very young, so I'll take the oldest daughter. Yep. And they are married, and when the king dies, the soldier becomes king, but he's pretty old, so, like, there's no way that he was king for long. The difference with this story, besides the gross old guy part, is that when the king is like, all these princes can come and, see what's wrong with my daughters. If they couldn't figure it out in 3 days, they would be executed. And the princesses weren't, so they have, like, fairy princes down below. They're meeting fairy princes. The princes who are trying to catch them in, like, their world, they are fucking roofying and knocking them out and, like, drugging them for 3 days straight so that they can sneak off, knowing that they're going to be executed at the end.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Weirdly even darker than these girls making them their weird zombie slaves. This is the story that I read years ago, and I remember the ending of the story, and I don't know if I projected this, if I made this one up, but I remember years ago that I read that the soldier, like, the king was like, what do you want? Which of my daughters do you want to marry? And he's like, oh, they have 12 princes down there that they are clearly in love with. You have 12 son-in-laws, like, already. And so at the end of the story that I remember reading, he was like, don't marry me to them. Marry them to their princes. And then he was just given a place of honor in the castle.
Oh, that's good.
A much better ending.
Yeah.
And then I would like to pitch that he actually goes back, finds that hot old woman that gave him all those things, and he marries her.
Yes. I have the laurel trees and also the woman in gold that appeared to him.
Yeah.
Just, especially, like, the woman in gold. Who was she? Why was she helping?
Andrew Lang had her take the place of the old woman in the woods.
Yeah, but, like,
he had to make her young and hot.
Yeah, but, like,
yeah, it could have just been one old woman.
Also, she gave him presents. Why didn't he end up with her?
She's too good for him. Maybe she ends up with the oldest princess.
Oh, all right.
This is ATU Type 306, the shoes that were danced to pieces. This story is the German version, but Alexander Afanasyev collected 2 Russian variants called the Night Dances in his book Russian Folktales. And the closest Scottish version, can you think of it? What would you think would be the closest version to this?
Tamlin? No. Catrin Crackernuts.
Yeah, Catherine Crackernuts. Catlin Crackernuts.
Catrin Crackernuts.
The closest Scottish version is Catherine Crackernuts, which stays on theme but involves a girl rescuing a prince from dancing every night with the fairies. And it's much better in my opinion. Even though I did like this one a whole lot. That, by the way, is episode 35, World's Densest Babies, The Adventures of Catherine Fried Crackernuts. And the last thing, well, the last 2 things, there is a obvious double standard at play here immediately of Michael being super vain and being like, I don't like any of the girls in my village. I want to marry a princess because they're pretty. If any female character in any story that has ever been written dared to say that out loud, she would be punished at the end. Mm-hmm. It would be the taming of the shrew. She would she would have to learn her lesson about not being vain. And I was really annoyed reading the story and that being part of Michael leaving, where I'm like, he could have just left. He didn't have to be vain.
To that point also, though, if there was a princess and she snuck in underneath of a bunch of princes' beds and then found out that they had women tied up in their basement, it would be a different story.
Yeah, 100%.
I just...
a little bit of a power dynamic at play. And I just really want to know what happened to the spare. Did he blow up with the castle?
He got danced to pieces.
He got danced to pieces.
To death by Michael Bay.
Jesus. They're going to have so much money in the castle now that they don't have to keep replacing satin shoes every night.
But at the same time, they blew up all those gold, diamond, and silver trees. Like, they could have...
They blew up everything.
They blew up everything.
They blew up BTS. And BTK.
And One Direction.
Oh my god. Okay.
And all of their trees. All of their flowers that they eat.
Now what are they going to eat? Okay, well, that was sort of the 12 Dancing Princesses.
That was wild.
I love that story so much.
That's good.
All of our sources are in our show notes. You can find all of these stories linked on our website, www.sortofthestory.com. And if you want more of these episodes, then we do an extra monthly bonus episode, and you can get that on our Patreon for $7
per month.
Or you can join our Discord only for $3. And all of that is in our show notes. And everybody, we love you. We hope you're enjoying your July. And stay cool.
Stay cool, motherfuckers. Hack us.
What's that mean?
Have a kick-ass summer. You write it in your books. You didn't?
Nope.
Anyways, guys, hack us.
I can't imagine writing the word ass in a yearbook.
No, it's HAKAS.
I know.
You just write that, and it's an abbreviation for have a kick-ass summer.
Yeah. One of those A's stands for ass. I would have never. All right. Well, oh, wait. Let's read a review.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. I'm just going to find one at random. The episode hasn't come out where we're calling for fun reviews yet, so we're just going to do, I guess, a nice one.
A regular one.
We would like them to be bad later, though. Not bad. We'd like to be 5 stars, but funny.
You expect us to be 5 stars and funny every episode, and now we want the same from you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. These are all so nice.
Ugh, annoying.
This one is our most recent one. Moi, Chef's Kiss is the title. And the username is mushroom emoji, cat emoji, unicorn emoji. And it says, these two have genuinely sparked my eternal love for folklore and storytelling. They're so funny and the stories are so good. I love this podcast. And we love you, mushroom, cat, unicorn. We have an eternal love and interest in you.
Ink caticorn. Ink capricorn.
Ink?
Ink cap mushroom. Cat unicorn. Ink capricorn.
Capricorn, we love you.
I'm doing my best.
And it's not good enough.
It's true.
Let Max know with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts that she could do better.
Yeah.
Don't write that on the reviews. That's so mean. Okay. Everybody have a good day.
Hack us.
Goodbye. Max, don't say ass. It's called a land funnel. Land spout tornado or something like that.
Like a water spout?
Yeah,
but
land spout.
on land?
Okay. A water spout is it's sucking up water. That's why they call it that. It's just a twister on the water and it's sucking up water. Mm-hmm. Is it sucking up land? Because it also is on trees and the trees aren't even moving. Terrifying.
I don't understand weather, and if I think about it too hard, I'm going to have a panic attack.
Okay, let's think about sharks.
Earlier today, we were playing D&D, or Pathfinder, and we're, like, underground, and my character got, like, a remora worm zombie.
What's a remora worm zombie?
A remora is like those fish that attach to the bottom of sharks and they have like a bunch of teeth.
Okay.
They have like the round mouth that's got like a bunch of different jaws inside of it with like the little teeth, and they
Yes.
just latch on. And,
Yeah.
So it was like that. And it was like an undead, like giant remora, basically, that was like underground. And my GM was like, Max, I'm very sorry to you specifically. And I was like, yeah, because it's not like my greatest fears are being stuck underground and parasites and blood problems.
Those are all your greatest fears.
They are. I actually, though, upon reconsidering, I have decided to bump blood problems down to like number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put number 3 as tornadoes. It's going to be number 1, being trapped underground. Number 2. No, wait, actually, number 1, parasites. Number 2, being trapped underground. Number 3, tornadoes.
And number 4, blood problems.
Blood problems.